Hello, I hope that you are doing great. In this video I will present a platform that is called Forward. That is a platform that I have developed in the last 4 years in which I connect education and research. This platform have a lot of functionalities and is a huge project, and I will focus in the videos today in 3 parts of this platform. In particular, I will focus in one of the courses that I am teaching and is hosted in this platform. The second part of this platform that I would like to show you is the apps developed by my students and that are hosted in Forward. And the last part of the platform that I would like to show you is the research that is hosted in Forward. Okay, then let's move on. Here is the main page of the platform. The first thing that you have to do is to log in. Once that I log in here, I enter in the main page, and once that I am here, I can go to the account, and here I have basic information about this user. I can choose a file to change the picture, and in the future probably I will have here other type of set of information. The first part of the platform that I would like to show you is one of the courses that I am teaching in the university. This is a sustainable energy and app development course. The first functionality that I would like to show you is basically the possibility to create my own announcements, because I enter here like a teacher. Then as administrator I have the possibility to create announcements, and here this is the announcement that I have placed right now. I will erase this because I don't want to confound the users. The next thing that I would like to show you here is 2 blocks of information. One is for the app development module and the other is a sustainable energy module. I would like to show you this module. This is all the chapters that I have prepared for this sustainable energy course, and I will focus in chapter 5. Chapter 5, basically we study wind energy. What I would like to show you is, in this introduction, I have the first thing that I do in every chapter is place some questions for the students in such a way that we can motivate the chapter and we can analyze the main topics that we are going to study in this chapter. If I click here in the exercise 1 and I go to the questionnaire, here I ask some basic question about a particular part of this chapter. In particular, we are analyzing here the reason because the wind turbines have 3 blades. Here the students can select this, one of the questions, the answers, they submit it, and once that we click in the refresh button, here basically we have the answers of all the students. This is super useful because the students know what other students think. We discuss about the different answers that they provide, and this is very useful to motivate the chapter. Okay, this is one of the functionalities that I would like to show you. The second thing is, in this chapter basically I cover 3 different sections. If I go to the technology section, here basically the students in this section we study the main characteristics, the main technical characteristics of wind energy. In particular, for example, here we study the capacity factor of a wind farm. And basically, if I click here in this button, I explain the steps to work out the capacity factor for a wind farm. And here you have a GitHub account in which basically the students can have access to a Python code to work out the capacity factor of a farm. And if you click here, you have access to the video in my YouTube channel in which I explain all the steps to run that code and to program that code in their computers. Okay. If I go down this section, at the end of each single section I have different answers, different questions for the topics that we have covered in that section. Here you have different answers and for each single question, and once that the students submit these answers, these are recorded in a database. And basically, if the students want to know their answers, they have to go to this statistics button and select this chapter, chapter 5, And here I have, as administrator, two sets of information. The first one, if my own answers to these questions, and I know if the answers are correct or are incorrect. Have here a link to the chapter in case that I make a mistake. I can come back to this question. And as administrator, I have here the answers of all my students to these questions. And this is super handy because I don't have to wait until the end of the course to know if the students are doing fine or are doing wrong in the exam, in the chapters, because I know this information straight away. At the end of each single chapter, I have this information, and this is super useful. The next year I will create some algorithms to disclose this information to the students, because there are some students that answer these questions way before that we cover these things in the chapters. There are other students that answer these questions during the lectures, and other students that answer these questions after the lectures. And basically what I would like to establish is a comparison between the students that perform better and the students that perform worse, and in such a way that the students can learn from each other. There are some students that answer these questions 2 or 3 days before we cover the material in the lectures, and those students in general are the ones that perform better. And I would like to disclose at what time the students answer these questions, because they can learn from each other. And in particular, also I would like to customize the education, as I will explain at the end of the video. I will develop some algorithms in which I can detect the students that perform worse and give extra material to those students to improve their education, and also the students that perform better, they also will have access to extra material in case that they want to do more things, because there are some students that have more ambitions or students that came with different backgrounds. And the idea of this platform is that, given that I have more than 20 databases connected between them, I can customize the education of the students and help them to flourish and to develop all their potential. Okay, this concludes basically the first part of this video, in which I am teaching you how to the courses that I have hosted in Forward. The second set of information that I would like to show you is basically the apps developed by my students. This is another course that I teaching and that I have hosted in Forward. Is Green Digitalization and App Development. In this course, basically I am teaching my students to develop apps, and we combine 7 different programming languages, and we develop a very solid software architecture, combining with databases, etc. The idea of this course is basically to develop an economic and business model to work out transport carbon emissions, and based on that economic and business model, the students develop an app. What I would like to show you is the apps developed by my students. In this course, basically, I have 15 apps developed by my students, and in total in the platform there are almost 20 apps developed in other courses. If I click here, basically I have the apps developed during this year, and I would like to show you a couple of examples. I would like to show you this one and this one. What I would like to show you here, this is the domain for the app developed by this group of students, and this is the domain for the app developed by this group of students. This means basically that the students, this group of students that have developed these apps, and this group of students that have developed this app have their own domain hosted in Forward. This means basically that these students are using my databases and my servers at no cost for them, and this is super useful for them. And moreover, these different apps are totally independent of Forward and totally independent among them. For example, if I click here in the logout button and I log in again, when I am logging in this app, I don't have to log in through Forward. I am logging through the app developed by this group of students. This means that this app is totally independent of Forward, even though it's hosted in Forward, because I have developed a software architecture and a login system that make all the apps independent among them. But still, once that you log in, for example, in this app, you can access to all the material in Forward and the other apps with the same user. This is super handy because you don't have to create a new user for each single app. And this is super useful for the users of Forward and also for the users of the different apps. Okay, I log in here again, and in this app I have different things. The first thing is a bio and LinkedIn and GitHub account for these students. I have here the methodology in which you can download a paper developed by these students to work out transport carbon emissions, in which also you can read the business model. You also have here information about the numbers that they are using to work out transport carbon emissions. If I go here to the carbon calculator, I can go, for example, to the different means of transport. If I select bus, I can introduce here the number of kilometers, for example 5. Okay, with a diesel, I submit. And then once that I click here, I have different set of information. The first one is this table that is connected to a database, and again this database is hosted in Forward. They are using my database, and I have a kind of a share of my database with these students, and they make a query to my databases. And here you have the user, the date, the kilometers, the transport, the fuel, the carbon emissions, and you also have the possibility to erase some of these options. Here you have different graphs. One is with the carbon emissions. Here you have the carbon emissions by date, and here you have the kilometers by different means of transport, and here again you have the kilometers by date. Okay, this is only one example. You have 19 apps like this. They are very, very innovative. The students are doing an amazing work with this, and I really encourage you to take a look of the apps developed by them, because it's really, really advanced apps. They are brilliant students. And the last set of information that I would like to show you is the research hosted in Forward. I don't have only courses hosted in Forward, but I also have papers and research. If I click here in this button, I have here all the papers that are connected to sustainable energy. In particular, in this paper here, I am basically working the subgain perfect NAS equilibria in an electricity market in which the guarantees of origin market and the spot electricity market operate sequentially. Basically, here you can run all these simulations, and you have here, you can select the different parameters of the model, and you can run all these simulations, and here you have the prices, the consumer surplus, the profit, the welfare. You have the strategies of the companies. Here you have a paper in which you can read the paper. You have here a presentation that is connected to my Adobe Creative Cloud. For example, here you have this presentation, and then once that you select here, you can just go to the different part of the presentation. And the interesting thing here is that basically this is a DAS application running inside a Flash application. Basically, the software architecture behind this app or this paper is that this is a server inside a server. This has the advantage that is, for example, I can have 100 papers, and I don't need 100 servers, because I have only all these papers and all these servers are inside the Flash server. Therefore, I only need one server to host 100 or 1000 papers. I don't need 1000 servers. And obviously, this generates a lot of economies of scale, but not only, because as I will explain you in the last part of the video, I can use artificial intelligence to check, to find very useful information in these databases, in the code of these 100 papers, and this have a lot of potential. It's not only about economies of scale. It's important that you save money, but it's not only that. It's way more advanced than that. The second advantage of this is that I have all the functionalities and all the databases that I have in Flash, I can access from this server. For example, here I have a chat in which I can interact with other researchers that are working in the same field. I have placed here a student's questions Basically for this paper, the students can read the paper and answer questions about this paper. If I click here, I have the answers of these particular students to this question. Here I have a chat in which the students can interact with me and can interact with other students around the world that are working in this paper or with other professors. I have here a calendar in which I present in which conferences I have presented this paper or I will present it. I have here a link with the authors that have written this paper. Basically what I have in this part of the forward is a kind of LinkedIn in which you can chat with other people, you can post information, but the most important thing is that you can run the simulations and you can also answer questions to this kind of related to the paper, and this is super handy. Okay, this concludes basically this video in which I have shown you a small part of Forward. In particular, I showed you the courses that I have hosted in Forward, the apps that are hosted in Forward, and the research that is hosted in Forward. In the future, I would like to introduce artificial intelligence. In fact, I start to explore that possibility because I have more than 20 databases in this platform. The apps, the code of my students are hosted in Forward. This implies that basically I have a GitHub repository inside Forward, and I can use artificial intelligence to find very interesting code inside Forward. Then I am planning to introduce artificial intelligence to increase the functionalities that I can have in Forward. The second extension that I am working right now is introducing algorithms to help my students to customize the learning process. Again, I have a lot of information about my students, and the idea of this is to customize the learning process in the sense that you can detect which students have problems to follow the courses, and you can detect these problems in the first week. You don't have to wait until the end of the course, and you can help these students to find to do extra exercise and to have access to extra YouTube videos or extra material to help them. You also can identify the students that perform better, and you also can give them extra material in the case that they want to learn more or whatever. The idea of this platform is to basically help the students to develop all their potential. And the last extension that I am exploring is introducing REST APIs in Forward, because I have 20 databases in Forward. I have super useful information, not only about teaching, but also about research. And the idea of this is to open the databases to other researchers that want to use that information to create their own apps, and also to use the information that is hosted in Forward to do their own research. And to do that, I would like to use REST API in such a way that the people can have access to the database, obviously protecting the information of the people that is using the database, but also creating tokens and creating kind of all the things that we need to protect and protect the sensitive information, but at the same time to allow the people to use that information to do research and to help the society to flourish and to develop their potential. I hope that this video has been useful. This is I only grasping on the surface of this project. If you are interested in Forward and you need further information, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a nice day.